These are the highest probability plays for today. This is the Daily Profit brought to you by Linemaker Sports. I'm Frank. What we're going to do is we're going to go over the highest probability plays throughout today. So that way you guys have something to go off of and you guys can set yourself up for success in sports betting. Now, before we get to that, let's talk about yesterday's results. All right, yesterday we had the Seattle Seahawks DK Metcalf. He had a 71.42% probability to go over 50 receiving yards. And he pretty much got that, I think, in the second quarter, to be honest. I think he got that in the second quarter, so he got that pretty easily. Next up was Geno Smith. He had an 80% probability to go over 224.5 passing yards. He eclipsed that pretty much in the third quarter because if I'm correct, he went over 350 plus, I think, passing yards. So he really took that to the next level. The only one we ended up losing on was Amon-Ra St. Brown. All right, he had an 80% probability to go over 54.5 receiving yards, but his production has been hurt a little bit by Jameson Williams. And as you can see, last night's game, Jameson Williams ended up having one of those bombs that he caught for a touchdown that put him over, I think it was 80 yards receiving. All right, so probabilities, sometimes they get hurt due to production on different teams or whatnot. So all you can do is set yourself up to be on the best side. All right, guys. Now, if you guys want these plays, these high probability plays that I am showing you right now, make sure you go and click the link in the description. So that way you can get today's highest probability plays that go along with what I'm about to show you right now. So let's go ahead and get into it. We are at playoff baseball, guys. All right, so October 1st, playoff baseball. We're getting ready to go. We're going to talk about the pitchers first off. All right, first one's going to be Corbin Burnes. Corbin Burnes has a 68.75% probability to go under 2.5 earned runs. And now that is on a total, all right, overall. He has about a 68.75% chance to do that. Now, going against a top 10 batting team, which is the team that he's going against today, is top 10 in batting. Yeah, that percentage drops a little bit. All right, that probability goes down to 66.7%. All right, so not too much of a dip there for his under 2.5, but when he's going against a team that bats, in the top 10, it does drop just a little bit. Now let's go ahead and talk about the over on the outs. All right, so what this means obviously is they need to pitch at least 6 innings. All right, so the probability overall for Corbin Burnes to pitch at least 6 innings is 71.87%. Now that's at an overall, but there is a big discrepancy when he goes against teams that are top 10 in batting. That drops down to 38.46%. All right, so he actually has a 38.46 probability to go at least 6 innings versus the team that is top 10 in batting. All right, so what you do with these probabilities is you take these and you make sure you understand what it is that I'm telling you here. All right, you obviously want to be able to bet the ones that are going to have the highest chance of winning. All right, because over the long term, yes, if you're choosing probabilities that have 70% plus, 65% plus, well, guess what? Over the long term, that is what it's going to be, come out as. You're going to win at that rate. All right, the odds obviously need to correlate with that as well. So make sure I'm giving you the recipe here, but you got to do your own due diligence by being able to look at the odds that correlate with this to make sure that it makes sense. All right, and also if you guys want that PDF that shows you exactly what the true value percentages are, make sure you guys go in the description as well. Let's get to the next pitcher on the slate, Cole Ragans. All right, for Kansas City. Now he has a 71.87% probability to go under 2.5 earned runs. Now that drops pretty drastically, about 22%, down to 50% when he goes against the top 10 batting teams. All right, so he was pretty good all season long. Cole Ragans was pretty good all season long. But when he goes against teams that are pretty good, that drops down. All right, he has a tendency to get hit. All right, that's just the way that it goes. So you're pretty much at under 2.5 versus the top 10 batting team. You got a coin flip for Cole Ragans there. All right, it's pretty much a coin flip. So based off what we're looking at right here, you would want that line to be at plus 100 to minus 110. All right, for him to go under 2.5 earned runs because it's pretty much a 50-50 shot there. Now let's talk about him pitching at least 6 innings. Now, for him to pitch at least 6 innings overall throughout the season, you have a 68.75% probability there. Now, when he goes against the top 10 batting teams, now it gets a little bit interesting because it goes up actually a little bit. It goes from 68.7% up to 70%. All right, so he has a tendency to pitch a little bit longer and stay in the game a little bit longer against teams that are batting a little bit higher. All right, so make sure you understand that when I'm showing you guys. What I'm showing you here is probabilities, because in the end, that's how you're going to win in sports betting. You want to set yourself up to be on the right side, all right, to give yourself an advantage. So take advantage of what it is that I'm telling you right now. Let's get to the next pitcher. Next pitcher is going to be Luis Severino. All right, Luis Severino, his numbers are not too impressive, all right, as you guys can just see right here from what I'm showing you. We got 50% for him to go under / over 2.5 earned runs. So it's pretty much a coin flip either way. It's 50-50 either way. For him to go under it, for him to go over. All right, so there's no value on that play whatsoever. You really can't get nothing there because it's a coin flip either way. All right, also 44%. That drops down 6% when he goes against the top 10 in batting. All right, so my advice would be when you see something like this, you pretty much probably would just stay away from those bets. All right, you'd probably stay away because it's a coin flip. All right, you're just pretty much going to take a guess on whether he goes under 2.5 or over 2.5. Anything that's at like 50%, that's pretty much what it's at. It's pretty much a coin flip there, and the odds need to correlate. So your odds need to be at least plus 100 or minus 110 to be able to take a coin flip on that play. Now let's talk about him pitching at least 6 innings. All right, for him to pitch at least 6 innings overall, we got 56.2% chance of that happening. Now, when he goes against good teams, top 10 in batting, that drops down pretty significantly. All right, that goes to 33%. All right, so not too good. So on the flip side there, that would be 67% that he would have, that he would go under 6 innings pretty much. That's how that would look. Because you could use these both ways, the way that I'm showing you. If I show you a terrible percentage for an over, well then obviously that could be the opposite for the under. All right, so make sure you guys understand that as well as I'm going through these and I'm showing you. All right, but 33% to go at least 6 innings, that's not too good. All right, unless you're getting him at plus 300 or something like that for him to pitch at least 6 innings, then obviously that play is no good. All right, let's get to the next pitcher on the slate here, Freddie Peralta. All right, for the Milwaukee Brewers. He's got a 53.12% probability to go under 2.5 earned runs overall. Now, that drops to 50-50 again when he goes against the top 10 in batting. All right, so again, we have a case here where it's 50-50. All right, for him to go under 2.5 or over 2.5. So really, there's no value there. All right, it's a coin flip. When it's 50%, there's a coin flip there. All right, let's talk about him going at least 6 innings. Now, probability of him going at least 6 innings is 62.5%. But when he plays against teams that are top 10 in batting, that drops pretty significantly down to 44%. All right, so opposite side there would be 56% for him to go under 17.5 outs. All right, but again, when you look at that, there's really not too much value to be found in that. All right, you primarily want to stick, when it comes to probabilities, you want to stick for player props, anything that's like 65% and above. All right. Me personally, I usually stick to 70% and higher, but you could stretch it to 65% or whatnot. And again, the odds have to correlate with it. All right, because you can't play something that has a 70% probability, but it's minus 600. All right, you can't do stuff like that because when you play it like that, then you can't be profitable long term because you need to hit it like 90-95% if you're playing certain plays that are that high. So understand that when I'm teaching you guys this stuff. When I'm showing you guys the probabilities of stuff, make sure you understand that the odds need to correlate with them as well to make sense. All right? Because something could have 100% probability, but it's minus 2,000. Doesn't mean you're going to go and play it. All right? You need to understand the probability, correlating that with the odds as well. All right, let's get to Michael King now for the Padres. He has a 74.19% chance to go under 2.5 earned runs overall. Now, in a rare case here, this gets bumped up a little bit when he goes against the top 15 in batting, similar to the team that he's going against today. It goes to 76.47% for him to go under 2.5 earned runs. All right, so he actually gets a little bit of a bump there in probability when he goes against better teams. So not too bad there. Let's look at him to go at least 6 innings. Now, for him to go at least 6 innings, we got 51.7%. All right, and then when he goes against teams that are top 15, that drops down about 4%. That goes to 47% there. All right, so really on the 6 innings, for him to go 6 innings over under, there's really no value there. The value for Michael King here is going to be on the under earned runs. All right, so let's go back and go through these one more time. All right, let's start with Corbin Burnes. Because if you want to identify the best ones, this is how you identify the best ones, obviously. All right, you got to have the highest percentage. And obviously, you want to be able to simulate the scenario that they're in. So to simulate the scenario that they're in, what I'm teaching you here is when they're going against a team that is top 10 in batting, similar to who they're going against, that is the percentage you're most likely going to use. All right, so Corbin Burnes here, you would use pretty much that 66.7% probability for him to go under 2.5 earned runs. And then on the flip side for the outs, you'd pretty much ignore the outs. You wouldn't play that, all right, because 71.87% overall, but it drops significantly when he plays better teams. So his probability is not as great for him to go at least 6 innings when he plays better teams. All right, Cole Reagans here. You got a 50-50 shot again, like I said, when it comes to under 2.5, so there's no value there because it's under 2.5 or over 2.5. You get 50-50 each way. And you'd have to have minus 110, and even at that, there's nothing to identify. You'd have to flip a coin to choose which one you're going to go with. All right, but for him to go at least 6 innings, we got 70% shot at that. All right, so that one is pretty much a good value when you see that. Okay, when you see that there. Especially when you see in a similar scenario, the percent go up. Because it doesn't happen too often, but when it does, that's great. All right, Severino. Really not much we could do with Luis Severino here. All right, I just wanted to show you guys this so that way you guys can see that basically there's nothing you could do with him. All right, so you probably have to just take him completely off the board of trying to consider anything. The only thing maybe to consider is him not pitching at least 6 innings. All right, because on the flip side, that's 67% that he has probability of him not going 6 innings. But I always suggest when it comes to the under on the outs, when you're talking about under on outs, you don't want to be in that 17.5 out range. You'd rather be in like 18.5. Why? Because they got to come out for a whole nother inning to be able to beat your under. All right. Most likely, a lot of the times, unless they're pitching a gem, they're not going to go beyond those 6 innings. Unless, like I said, they're pitching a gem or it's a close game and their pitch count is lower. It's really the only time that happens. All right, Freddie Peralta, again, there's not much value with him, similar to Luis Severino here, as we have 50-50 shot for him to go under 2.5 or over 2.5 versus a top 10 batting team. And also for the outs, you got a 44% chance of him going over 6 innings or going at least 6 innings pretty much. And there's no value really on that whatsoever. Now, Michael King, we do have value on the under 2.5 because that's a 76.4% probability in similar scenarios than what he's going to be in today. All right, so that is a pretty good play right there, right off the bat. Now, let's get to the one hitter that I was able to find something on. All right, this was the only one that really had anything that could be worth anything. And Willy Adames, we got 62.73% probability for him to just get a hit. All right, and he's batting .364 versus Severino. All right, so it looks like if you want a hitter, you'd be picking on Severino, the guy that had the worst probabilities for the pitching today. All right, it just seems like it correlates like that. All right, that's just the way that it goes sometimes. But as I said, going through the probabilities and showing you guys exactly what the probabilities are on stuff, this is how you're going to set yourself up for success in the long run. All right, if you guys want me to teach you exactly how to do this, how to come up with these probabilities, make sure you guys go in the description down below. All right, click the link as well. This is the Daily Profit Show, guys. Each day we're going to go through and I'm going to show you guys exactly some of the highest probability plays out there. And what we're going to do, we're going to sit back, we're going to relax, and we're going to ride through them throughout the whole entire day. All right, guys, as always, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next show. Till then, I'm out.